the journalist came to me and asked me, "What do you want here? Because you are suspended." I said, "No, I'm not suspended." They said, "No, you are suspended." I checked with the staff. If they check, I was told that at 2:15, the president has in live TV read my suspension.
2018 until June 2024, you were not reappointed after the formation of the Government of National Unity in June 2024, but rather your successor, Minister Mkhunu, was appointed. Now, before that, you had also served as a National Commissioner for 2 years until there were misconduct allegations against you. You were suspended in October 2011 and then removed in June 2012. Do you want to tell us about that?
No, thanks. Thanks, Honorable.
If you do need some assistance, it's in your statement. But I'm sure you can.
I'll look at the
from
assistance,
memory, yeah.
But I also deal with the assistance that I know. Thanks. Thanks, honorable members and all that are present. I think all my life has been on security matters. After elections in '94, I was a member of the legislation KZN, and I was the first chair of the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee in that province. And well, I held other positions as chair of chairs and all that, but the main one was that I was a chair of the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee. That was a province which was very violent and a lot of turbulence even after elections. I'm sure the members that come from that province will remember that. When the violence, otherwise mainly political violence, subsided nationally, in KZN did not. There were still some killings. The major killing was on the 25th December 1995. Remember, we've gone for election in '94. In a place called Shobane, when 19 people were killed on the 25th of December. I'm sure everybody knows what is the 25th of December. So violence went on at a mass level, but later it got a little bit an organized kind of violence. So when one became the National Commissioner, had to look at the mandate of the Constitution, what you're supposed to do, to try and keep South Africans safe and do things in a way that they're supposed to put South Africans first and put them safe and all that. So I was approached to be a National Commissioner of the South African Police. I must say, I did not agree initially. I did not like it. I was comfortable because I was an MSc in KZN by that time, MSc of Security and Transport. So for me, province was nice and comfortable. I was not very much keen to go national. I remember when I was approached by the president, which I think is his constitutional prerogative to appoint national commissioners, I said to him, "Baba, I'm not very keen, but unless you say you are instructing me, so I'll do it." And he said, "I'm instructing you." I said, "Okay, then I'll take the instruction." And I became then the National Commissioner. I think it was June 2009.
Who was then Minister of Police?
The Minister of Police was Mthethwa, the late Mthethwa, may his soul rest in peace. And then I went to be introduced. I was supposed to start 3 months earlier, but Jackie, who was the National Commissioner, had not been told, and the statute says you must be told 3 months before if you are not going to be appointed again as a National Commissioner. So that's what delayed my appointment, that it came in July 2009. So as it came, I was introduced in Mahlambandlovu. All generals were invited. You could see that there was some shock in some other generals that who is this outcomer who comes here when they're on general. But one adapted quite quick, and the working relationship with all the generals was very cordial, with except a few. Fortunately, we had a target, we had a focus to work towards. That was World Cup 2010. So we had a very little time to do other things, but we had to make sure that 2010 is safe. One worked with everybody that found there, especially in the headquarters where Masimula would be part of them. General Brace was there, General Libya was there, General Cruiser was there, and General Mafume was there. I guess she's Shivambu now. Were there. So General Hlela from Eastern Cape. These generals you find there, they were from different disciplines of policing. They were from Bantustans and from the original SAPF, South African Police Force. They've been put together mostly by Bheki Cele, and that's why you've got 2 days to celebrate in the South African Police. It's the first Sunday of September, where you remember all the fallen heroes, especially those that have fallen in the line of duty. And then you have the 27th of January, where you celebrate the finding of the South African Police Service from the force. So you find, but you could see that there were still tendencies of where people come from and all that, but we had a project to work on, which made life much easier, working towards 2010.
Was then Brigadier Mkwanazi, was he also part of your team?
Brigadier Mkwanazi was quite a junior at the time, as you say, Brigadier. But for some reason, I found myself working quite close with him. In 2010, when I think the World Cup was supposed to start on the 9th of June, if I'm not mistaken, when I was in PE, launching the TROT, known as Amabaret, I was phoned by the president of SAFA, Danny Jordan, to say that there is a crisis coming on, and then can I see you with immediate effect? So I know that we'll be discussing immediate a long time.
Yes, and did you meet him immediately or some months afterwards?
So he said, "Can I see you immediately?" So I saw him that day. That immediately was that day when I saw him. I flew from PE straight to OR. I find him seated there with Valk. I forget his first name. Valk was the Secretary General of FIFA.
Jerome Valk.
There was a problem. This was around March now. There was a problem that the World Cup is being taken away from South Africa. There was a big clash between Valk and FIFA President Blatter to say, you said the cup must go to South Africa, and there is a lot of crime in South Africa. There were 2 countries that they said they were ready to host. That was Australia and Germany. Remember, Germany had hosted it previously. So we spoke with President to say, how can we save the World Cup? It was on the score that I assembled the team of generals in the police, and we went to Zurich to make the president. To be honest, the nation does not know that South African Police Service saved 2010. Without that meeting, without us going to Zurich and making presentation, with all participating countries, sometimes with their heads of security, it took us a long time. General Praise made a good presentation. Among those, most of them were generals, except 3 that were brigadiers. Mkhwanazi was part of that. Mkhwanazi had come in because he was responsible for ORS. This is a response services, which puts together all special services, special forces of the South African Police. Is your special task team. Now it will be NIU. There are CATs under there, and there are TROT. That time, there was no TROT, and I think there were no CATs. Specifically, it was Special Task Force and NIU. Then Mkhwanazi was part of that. And for some reason, we work quite closely with him. I'll come back what happened as he becomes the first or the acting National Commissioner. So we made the presentation there. All countries were saying, are not going to go to South Africa. The people that were leading that rebel were British. And clearly, if British could not come to the World Cup in South Africa, many people were going to join them. Until at the later stage, we were supported by Brazil and all that. And Germany was very vocal to say, we are ready. And remember, they have launched it previously. So from that meeting, fortunately, there was a meeting, a General Assembly of Interpol in Lens, in France. So we had to fly there to convince the Interpol to say it's safe to come to South Africa, so that the campaign of safety and coming to South Africa is not just pushed by South Africans alone, but is also pushed by Interpol. That's how then we managed to work on the 2010 coming to South Africa. So that's why I'm saying that we had a project to work on, so we had not much time of differences among and between ourselves as officials in that particular time. And finally, 2010 did come in South Africa.
Yeah. I think most, if not all, South Africans are indebted to the work done by the police during 2010. It was probably the high point of the trust that people had in the police. Or maybe the, so that there was a high level of trust, or maybe the crooks and the robbers just took a break in 2010, watching football. But seriously, it was a high point in this country. But for you, the honeymoon was over in October 2011, when you were charged with some misconduct. Just tell us briefly about that, and also then your removal.
Yes, it is true. I think we continue to work very well as a South African police. Quite several benchmarks. For instance, we managed to establish what is known as SAPSET, South African Police Service Education Trust, was established at that time under that management. It's quite big today. I know that its job was to help the young orphans produced by the death of the officers that dying on the line of duty. So those were things to do. One other thing was the well-being and welfare of the police. We wanted to see them fit. You see them fit, they behave better. So we also negotiated, South African police even today, they've got a special reduction of about 20 to 30% with Virgin Active in the country. It was negotiated at the time to work on that. So quite good things happened in that time working with the collective of the management in that particular time. Yeah. One report we received was the fact that the Waghuis is a headquarters of the South African police in Pretoria, was condemned as a building dangerous. For instance, if you go there on the rainy days down, there is just the Mississippi River water, the stagnant there, and all that kind of stuff, and the lifts are not working, and but every office has an overpopulated with paper, so it was condemned. We had to get the new premises. So it is on that score that I signed the need. What happens? The director generals of different departments, they sign their needs when it comes to the acquiring the property, and they hand over that to Public Works. So that's what happened. So Public Works had to negotiate further how we get the building. So for some reason, it was alleged that one had done wrongly when I followed the same thing. So the public protector then was put on working on the matter. Public protector recommended that the minister had to take the action against the national commissioner, that is Mthethwa Thucelo. But the president did not see it that way. President wanted to put the commission to look at the fitness of the commissioner to the office in that particular time. And then, funny part of it is that in September, I visited the president. We spent 45 minutes, and I briefed him to say the next day I was going to go to Mpumalanga to launch the safety season. And the president, we spent 45 minutes, and then he said goodbye to me. He said it in Sizulu, "Tuhambe kahle mfana kithi." So I didn't know that I was going forever. But and then I left. He said he was busy meeting some people. What I didn't know is that those people who I was busy with, they were discussing my suspension. Yeah. And then, as I was at work in Mpumalanga, I remember we arrested somebody with a big bag of dagga. The journalist came to me and asked me, "What do you want here? Because you are suspended." I said, "No, I'm not suspended." They said, "No, you are suspended." I checked with the staff. If they check, I was told that at 2:15, the president has in live TV read my suspension on TV. So I was supposed to go there with Mkhwanazi to that operation, but I don't know what time. In the morning, I was told that Mkhwanazi was not going to come because he has been phoned the previous night.
He is now the acting national commissioner.
No, he was phoned the previous night that he must not go, he must go and see the minister. So the rest is that then he was to be made the acting national commissioner, which means minister and the president, they know that they're going to suspend me, but they allowed me to go and be suspended on the field. And as I was busy working. So as I came back, I was then suspended national commissioner, but the announcement was made as part of suspension that Judge Mohoro would lead the commission, that will check the fitness of the office. And then one had to sit and wait for that time to come. But at a later stage, it was changed from Mohoro, and it was made Moloi from Free State. And I was told that the minister phoned the president and told him that the minister was too close to Judge Mohoro because she was working as one of the trustees of the Education Trust, which was chaired by Smangaliso Mkajwa. So they felt that it was too close, maybe it would be biased towards Cele. That's why they changed and they brought Moloi from Free State. I must say that commission was very much loaded against me. For instance, a person that has been my main accuser was Hlela, who used to be a commissioner of the South African, or who used to be a commissioner of police in Ciskei. And the prosecutor there was Noche, who used to be the minister of police in Ciskei. So Hlela and Noche were coming from Ciskei and they were prosecuting me. But one person that was there was Judge Madanga, who was one of the leaders of the...
He was the evidence leader.
Yes. And then finally the decision was taken. I was found not to be fit for the office, and then I guess in 2012, then I was fired.
But we know that you subsequently challenged that decision. You took it on review, and it was granted in the High Court, although it was not opposed.